Na enkele jaren van aarzelen en twijfelen is de Prodigy weer helemaal terug met hun lang verwachte album Always Outnumbered, Never Outgunned. The album, it took 3 years to make it. How come?
It actually took 1 year to write, but it was my head. I couldn't get into the right mode. All I knew was I'd written some music before and I wasn't happy with it, and I listened to it. It was kind of music we'd written and we were doing live, and I just felt like it was a bit stagnant and it didn't really excite me at all. I didn't have the gigs to kind of get inspired by, so I had to sort of look more to me and say what was I into when I was growing up and stuff. And that's why the album's more electro and more kind of more of a studio album, this album. But since the album came out, we've all been back into the studio to sort of remold the tracks and evolve them on for the live thing, because it's always in the back of my mind. So like when I'm writing music to play the tracks live, it's what's amazing.
What's the biggest difference with the Prodigy now and 8 years ago? Let's say 8 years ago.
Do you know what? That's the hardest question. I mean, 8 years ago, you know, to be quite honest, it doesn't feel any different. You know, it just feels like another part of the journey's been made, and you know, we're back on stage and just happy to be there.
Touring and performing on stage must be very important for you guys. Two totally different things is making an album in a studio and then bringing it live to the people. Does it give new life to the tracks?
For sure, yeah, absolutely. I mean, like what I was saying, I think I was in the studio for 2 months after I finished the album, or before we started our tour, with Keith and Maxim, sort of breaking down the tracks and reassembling them. They're slightly different versions of the tracks, do you know what I mean? They're kind of the live versions, so it's sort of evolved on, you know, which is really good. That didn't happen before, because we always used to play the songs exactly how they were.
Baby's Got a Temper was criticised. Do you see it as a blessing, actually, and a turning point?
I personally do. I don't know. I haven't really spoken to the other guys about it, but I personally think it really kicked me up the arse. Do you know what I mean? I think people have said I hate the record. I think it's a bad record. It was all right. The record, you know, I wouldn't put it out otherwise. But I think it felt like when I listen to it now, if I'm honest with myself, it felt like I wasn't trying hard enough. Do you know what I mean? I think that gave me the energy and the kind of the start to write this new record, and it was kind of the last point we could make a record like that in a way.
I heard you say that you wanted to form an army against DJs.
I think DJs get far too much respect for playing other people's music. I mean, times have changed now, but going back sort of 5 or 6 years ago, you used to get the superstar DJs, the DJs that used to get more respect than the bands. And music's never going to move forward, or electronic music's never going to move forward if there's not enough young kids writing the music and being bands. Do you know what I mean? If it's just led by DJs all the time, it's a very closed scene. Do you know what I mean? That's my point. It's like everyone moans about, rock music's taking over dance music. Well, you know, it's up to the kids to kind of play this music live and get on stage and do it.
This is the Music Factory.